you were so excited that you got here half an hour earlier, but then I understood that there was some kind of mistake on the site. Well, hopefully they fixed it. Zohar sends his apologies. Okay, so, but it means that it's going to be a good course. So, what can we say before we begin? Yeah, it's like the fourth time we're doing this course. I don't know how many times. I'll try to be nicer this time, they asked me. Anyway, I'm getting older, but before the stage that you got grumpier. So like you have like a bell curve when you get older. So I guess I'll be more patient. Also, Uri Elinav is somewhere here, right? Between all the Zoom cloud. Uri? Here you are. On the here he is. No, on this side. The upper left corner of mine. Anyway, so me and Uri, we're gonna do this course. We have a lot of people. I understood that you had a course with Gianni and Zohar. This course is not going to be so easy, but at least, and the English is not going to be so good, but we'll do our best. So, preface course. What can I say? Important things to remember. I don't remember the disclaimer we adopted last time, but we're going to go over the preface article of Bala Sulam from the beginning to the end. So there are some items which are more complicated. You'll see the first item is like more general, but then he starts to dive in, and then we'll have a part in which he talks about the creation in general. Sometimes we go into specifics. So it's like we'll move in the resolution from macro to micro and back again. What's important to remember is that we don't study in order to learn it in an intellectual kind of way, although we'll have some moments or like, you know, when you have these teaching books and you have these small boxes with this lamp, I don't know how you call it. So anyway, we'll have these moments of learning the terminology and the concepts and trying to define them. But in general, we'll just go with the flow. We'll go with Bala Sulam. We'll try to be like kids going into this reality that the Kabbalists describe, understanding that we don't understand, but understanding that we want to experience and feel that. And that's more or less the way we study. Now, of course, that everything that you've learned in other courses applies here. So the more a person prepares himself for the lesson, the more he doesn't come with his own self to the lesson, but feels as part of something bigger, feels that he's in this big connection or big something with others. That's how he'll observe the material better, because in the end it's all about similarity of form. So the more we dissolve into others, the more we dissolve into the study, and the more we let go, the more we let it flow through us, the less rejection and rejection is a good word, like rejecting the material. Yeah, but maybe objection. I don't know, how would you say it, Nagdut?
Rejection.
Rejection, okay.
Or resistance.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, resistance is also a good word. So as you can see, it's not going to be really in English, because my English is like equal to a 6th grade kind of English. But with the help of friends, I've succeeded teaching in English. So it will be like semi-Hebrew, semi-English. You'll try to feel me, understand me. I'll try to be politically correct. and we'll try to have accurate English and move forward, and hopefully we'll understand one another. And resistance. Anyway, I forget all the words afterwards. And I don't, on this computer, I don't have Google Translate very like in an easy kind of, but I have friends. So welcome, Yael. You are accepted now to the team of proofreading or whatever. And what else? Uri, did I forget something important? Linda, did I forget something important?
No, I think you got it all.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll just say that this course doesn't really have an ending date. We just go with the flow. Usually it takes between, I don't know, like 7 months to 11 months. Really depends on the global pandemic, world war. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going with the changes, and we're just going with the items. Well, enough with that. And that's it. That was the easier part of the course. Now let's start reading. So again, item 1 is more general. Then we're going to dive into more details. If you have questions, because we are a lot of people, we're like 130, and like this is before the people who come later, and then we need to repeat the disclaimer again and all the explanation. So if you have questions, you can write it in the chat, and I'll try to relate to that, and maybe we'll have some times for open mics. Yeah, that's it, I guess. I know that Zohar likes everybody to open the cams and talk. I don't really mind. Do whatever it's convenient for you. I'm going to teach anyway, even if you close your cams. But it's really nice to see all of you. And that's it. Please, Uri, let's begin. Just say where we are at the book.
Okay, we're on page 565. And
Yeah, everybody knows about the book. Yeah, you know about the book. We have this book. You download it, hopefully you have the physical copy. Yeah, that's the book over there. Yeah, thank you very much. Everybody's showing the book. Nice, it's a green book. So we're on page 565, okay? Okay.
I'm
Yes?
sorry, could you show what kind of book it is?
It's called,
Yes.
it's called Kabbalah for the Student.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Here, David is showing that. Also, Dr. J is showing that. It's a green book. Maybe there's a link for the, maybe we can post a link to the PDF. Do we have a PDF, Linda? I don't know. Is there a PDF?
I don't know. I have a link to the old website with it. I can post that.
Okay, here, Jensen posted a link. Okay, so so this is the preface itself. If not, just Google, just Google a preface to the Wisdom of Kabbalah, Baal HaSulam, you'll get it. Okay. I guess that's it, right? You can be with your mobile phone, you can check the news, but I don't recommend that. I talk pretty quick, pretty fast, so in 3 minutes you'll find yourself thinking about your teenage years, about investments, I don't know, until you understand that you're not with us. So it's better to stick with us. What else? That's it. Natalia is back. We can start. Natalia, you weren't here, but they've posted the link to the, you got the book. Psh, nice. Good. Did you bring everybody? No, just kidding. Okay, please, Uri, let's begin.
okay, so we're starting on page 565. Item 1, Preface to the Wisdom of Kabbalah. 1. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia says, the Creator wished to cleanse Israel. Hence, he gave them plentiful Torah and mitzvot, commandments. As was said, the Lord desires, for the sake of his righteousness, to extol and glorify the Torah. It is known that zakut, cleansing, is derived from the Hebrew word hizdakhut, cleansing, which means cleansing or purification. It is as our sages said, the mitzvot were only given to purify Israel with them. We must understand this zakut that we achieve through Torah and mitzvot, and what is the aviyut, the thickness within us, which we must cleanse using Torah and mitzvot.
Okay, so you see how Kabbalists start. They're saying, like, you know, if you're not serious, better close the book now. So he starts like he's throwing a bomb, and then he's going to explain it. And I'm going to explain like in a shallow way kind of thing. So there was this Kabbalist called Hananiah, and this Kabbalist actually said that the Creator wanted to cleanse Israel, meaning that those who want to attain the Creator, they need to be cleansed. What does it matter? What does it mean? We'll soon see. But they've got this instrument or this thing or object or whatever that is called Torah and Mitzvot, which is not exactly as we know of in our world, but Kabbalists call them Torah and Mitzvot. And this happens to cleanse those who want to attain the Creator. And not only that it wants to cleanse them, it also, purifying, but how did they translate letzaref? Also cleansing?
Yes, also cleansing.
Okay, so in Hebrew you have a word which is called letzaref, which is like the action of, how do you say tzoref? You don't know this.
Someone who welds, a welder?
A welder, somebody who makes jewels or works with the gold. How do you call him?
Soldering.
Maker.
Maybe Saderer, it's Tzrov.
A jeweler.
A
Jeweler, yeah, I think so.
Okay, a jeweler. Jeweler is easy, I knew that. So I thought that there was a more specific. Okay, so in Hebrew, the word to cleanse is also like the action of a jeweler, that you take the gold out of the mud and then you bring the gold together, okay? So actually, you can translate the action of cleansing Israel also as bringing them together and like extracting them from the dirt, okay? Okay, so what actually does Baal HaSulam says here? Or why does he start with that? So in general, he wants to say like this. There was some kind of point. I don't want to say in time, because we don't talk about time, but there was some kind of point in some kind of process, which you can call it like stage 0, or like the beginning of creation, or something like that. And out of this point, something happened, which we don't really know right now what. But after what happened, then we have certain points or desires or whatever, I don't want to name them exactly, but we call them Israel, that they want to attain back that root or that moment or that force or what, or that stage. And in order to do that, they need to cleanse themselves, whatever that means, okay? And also, how did they translate aviyut here? Thickness or coarseness, okay. Okay, so they have something which is called thickness or coarseness, and they need to cleanse themselves. And they do that by an action which is called, or by an object which is called Torah and mitzvot. That we need to understand what does it mean, okay? that's in general what he's talking about. And as you can see, I'm really explaining that like I would explain to my 6-year-old girl or boy, because that's a very healthy approach. Just stick with what the Kabbalists say, understand like in general the objects, not try to connect all the picture in the beginning. So you'll see that in many, no, I can say like in 99% of the cases, this is how we dive into the material. We know nothing, we come like a tabula rasa, like a clean sheet, not with all of our knowledge and experience, nothing. We come like clean. And when we come like clean, we just want to grab like some points, like on a climbing wall, you just want to grab some points, like reference points that you can stick to the author. So you understand that this is a cow and it does moo, and this is a sheep and it goes meh. And now I'm not trying from the beginning to connect the cow to the Argentinian asado or to being vegetarian or to the global warming through the methane gas or whatever, okay? I'm just understanding that this is a cow, it goes moo, this is a sheep, it goes meh, and that's it. And I'm in the game. Then gradually I'll open up with the Kabbalist, and as we'll be opening up, then we'll start to have connections. It's also dependent on the external connection that a person does, but the more we'll connect to the author between us, then also the neurons in your brain will connect, okay? And then you'll get a picture. But don't try to swallow the picture from the beginning. It's not the right approach. Usually it will get you confused and very frustrated. Which is good in Kabbalah. We are happy from frustration. It brings us to a prayer. But my goal is not to make you more frustrated, and just to reflect on your frustration. That's a hard sentence to pronounce. Reflect on your frustration. Too many R's for me and too many S's. Okay, please, let's continue. So there is something which is called Israel, there is something which is called cleansing, there is something which is called Oviyut. Please continue.
Since we have already discussed it in my book, Panim Masbirot, and in the study of the 10 Sfirot, I shall briefly reiterate that the thought of creation was to delight the creatures in accord with his abundant generosity. For this reason, a great desire and craving to receive his abundance was imprinted in the souls. This is so because the will to receive is the kli, the vessel, for the measure of pleasure in the abundance, since the measure and strength of the will to receive the abundance precisely corresponds to the measure of pleasure and delight in the abundance. And they are so connected that they are indivisible, except in what they relate to. The pleasure is related to the abundance, and the great desire to receive the abundance is related to the receiving creature.
Okay, Ori, you sound a bit like in a barrel. You need to fix that. Maybe next time come to the studio, I don't know, but you have like, the sound is not so good. Okay, so Baal HaSulam says, in order to understand what we're doing here, what we need to do, who we are, what is all this mechanism that we need, what are the rules of the game, we need to go back a little bit, okay? So this a little bit of going back, this is like all the preface, okay? That's a lot of going back, but we'll do it gradually, okay? So what does he say here? Somebody's unmuted. So what does he say here? He says this. He says that there is something which is called the Creator, which has like an endless abundance or infinite abundance or whatever. Okay? So there is a lot of good. And because there is a lot of good, to be given by the creator, he had to create in the creature, or does he say here a creature? No, he's just talking about the will to receive. He's talking about the souls. So he's saying that in the souls, it was imprinted like the desire. So you can say that in the creatures or in the souls, whatever, it doesn't really matter now, a huge deficiency was imprinted. Why was this huge or infinite deficiency imprinted in the souls? In order for them to be capable of receiving the abundance that he has to give. So that's more or less understandable. We don't understand why, and there is no point of asking that at the moment, but we need to just understand that because the creator has an infinite pleasure to give, there was infinite will to receive or deficiency to receive that pleasure imprinted in the souls, or was created, or whatever you want to call it at the moment, okay? Moreover, what it says in the end of the sentence, and they are so connected, they are indivisible except in what they relate to. The pleasure is related to the abundance, and the great desire to receive the abundance is related to the receiving creature. Okay, so this is a very important detail. What actually does he say? He says that reality is interconnected. It's indivisible. So all the division that we're doing by relating the abundance to the creature, to the creator, and the deficiency to the creature, it's artificial. Okay, it's artificial. We just do it for our own convenience, so we'll understand. But reality is reality. It comes together in every state, in every level, in every object. Always you have both the abundance and the deficiency, and they come together. There is none without the other. We'll see that soon. Okay? I'll give you time to ask questions soon when we finish this item. Please continue.
These two necessarily extend from the Creator. However, they should be divided in the above-mentioned manner. The abundance comes from his atzmut, self, extending existence from existence, and the will to receive, included there, is the root of the creatures. This means that it is the root of initiation, that is, emergence, existence from absence, since there is certainly no form of will to receive in his atzmut.
Okay, so what does Baal HaSulam says? He says, when I came to this state, and I attained this state through my research in nature, I revealed that actually both the abundance and the deficiency come from the same root. But I am built in a way, or we are built in a way, that we relate the abundance to the Creator and the deficiency to ourselves. Although they both come from the Creator, but like in a direct and indirect way. And why is that? Why is it that we relate the abundance to the Creator and the deficiency to the creature? Because we need to understand what is creation. So a simple definition of creation is to say that I'll do it like this, that there was a state in which there was only one thing or nothing, it doesn't really matter. And now there is another thing that wasn't before. So the action of something appearing what we call existence from absence, that it wasn't before, but now it is, this is called creation in Kabbalah. Something was created. And what is this thing that was not, and now after creation, after the act of creation is, we call it this deficiency, this will to receive. Okay? And because this will to receive, as we'll see later on, wasn't before, but appeared, it makes it something which is not eternal, like the abundance. And that's why we relate it to the creature, because the creature, as we'll see, or creation, is temporary. But we'll discuss it further on later. Please continue.
Hence, it is considered that the above-mentioned will to receive is the whole substance of creation from beginning to end. Thus, all the creatures, all their innumerable instances and conducts that have appeared and will appear, are but measures and various values of the will to receive. All that exists in those creatures, that is, all that is received in the will to receive, imprinted in them, extends from his self, existence from existence. It is not at all a new creation, existence from absence, since it is not new at all. Rather, it extends from his endlessness, existence from existence.
Okay, so so here again, as we've said, you need to forget all definitions of matter that you might think or know or imagine, and for now, adopt here the definition of Baal HaSulam, and he says that all the matter in creation is the will to receive, meaning there is nothing in creation. The definition of creation, as we've seen, is something that wasn't before, and that is the will to receive. And everything that happens from that moment of creation until this creation will end or change or whatever, these are all changes of the will to receive. But every change in the will to receive also causes the will to receive to feel and attain the abundance differently. So you can say that all of creation is actually some kind of dialogue between the matter, the will to receive, which the Creator created, which is like a substance that can sense this abundance or not sense it. So you have like a 0-1 kind of thing. Either we sense the Creator or not. So it's a dialogue between this matter, this will to receive, and the abundance. And how do they relate to one another? And everything that happened since that moment, or moment is like a concept of time, but everything that happened since that action of creation, and everything that will happen until this creation will cease to exist, and everything that is right now as a result of what will be or what was, doesn't really matter, is just some kind of setup or different conditions or different relations between the matter, which is the will to receive, and the abundance, which we'll call later the will to bestow, the light, the pleasure, the attainment, the information, the shape. There will be many names for that, because that's harder to define, like what is the Creator. But at the moment we define it as everything which is not the will to receive, meaning which is not the creature itself. That's a lot of like meta kind of information. Sounds a bit big maybe, like very maybe theoretical or maybe a bit far from us, but it's not so complicated if you don't complicate yourself and you go with him. It's not so complicated. Of course, there is a lot of layers into that, but gradually. Just before the questions, I want to ask two things, which are very important to the study. So if we're talking about the 3-axis kind of diagram in which we talk in Kabbalah how creation came to be from the moment of creation until what we call our world. And then we have in Kabbalah the process or the journey or the ladder in which we attain the upper worlds from the level of unconsciousness. Then it's important for me to say that the preface to the Wisdom of Kabbalah talks about this part, okay? So it's way before we can even talk about ourselves. So sometimes I'll give examples about us, about how we perceive, how we exist, etc. But it's just for us to grasp in an easier way what Baal HaSulam talks about. But really, in this preface, there is nothing that talks about our world or us at the moment. Okay, so we need to understand that. So why am I saying that? So because it's better in the questions not to try to connect everything that we studied to us immediately. And this will connect in a person later on. This is one thing. The other thing is that we have here students, some of them are doing this course for the 4th time. Some are here completely beginners, doing it. This is their first lesson. And if they are still with us after 30 minutes, already we'll send them some kind of Amazon gift card or something, because it's not easy. And because the only principle they need to remember is that you need to hold on until the end of the lesson, and then another lesson, and then things start to fall apart. You don't need to be some kind of genius. It's just about persistence or like about grit. So I'm asking you not to ask about things that we haven't studied. Don't connect things that you've learned before or that you've heard. If you have questions, try to be very specific, either about something I've said or something we've read. That will be much easier for everybody. Good. Having said that, now please, if you have questions about the first item, obviously all beginnings are hard. Everything starts slowly, and as we'll be warming up, we'll accelerate. But for now, item 1, do you have any questions about some term, something we've explained, something that is unclear? Please, either in the chat or in voice. I see that Joadin is asking, did I say something similar to Assyria or something like that? I don't know. Sometimes when you teach in English and you say the word Assyria, then Siri starts to work. Because, I don't know, because it sounds like, hey Siri, maybe, Assyria. So now it started to work, so I thought maybe I said it. Just a second, I have a question here from Joadin. All creation will cease to exist. What do you mean? Please explain. I haven't said that it will cease to, yeah, maybe I said it. We'll talk about it maybe in the next item, but we'll see that this state in which there is a creator and there is some kind of thing which we call a creature or creation, and there are actually two, this is a temporary state. On some point, they will go back into being one, just like it was. So that's what I meant by ceasing to exist on some point. Yeah, in general, that's it. Please, there was a question?
Yeah, I have one. It's at the top of page 566. It's at the end of that paragraph. It says there is certainly no form of will to receive in his essence. Why do we say we want to bring the Creator contentment if there's no will to receive in him? What does that mean?
Okay, you see, this is a good example. You've said correctly that there is no will to receive in the Creator. That's how we define him. But then you're asking about contentment, which is something I haven't said and isn't written. And this is a good example how not to ask a question, okay? So please stick to what we've talked. When we ask about contentment, you can ask about contentment. I didn't even mention that. I really don't even know what it means at the moment. Okay, more questions about what we've said?
Hi, Aaron. My question to you is, I'm sorry, my internet was going off. My internet was going off a little bit. You said that a use deficiency was imprinted in the Creator. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, what you mean by deficiency?
Yeah, so this is what Bala Sulam said, not me.
Okay.
A deficiency is really hard to define, but what Bala Sulam says, that there was some kind of lack imprinted. What is creation? Again, I take you back to what I've explained before. Ask yourself, what is creation? What does it mean to say that something appeared out of non-existence? So you can ask, what actually appeared? What is this renewal? What is this something new that wasn't before? So Bala Sulam said, the only thing, and this is completely opposite to everything that everyone thinks. If you're asking people what was created, they will talk about paradise, about perfection, about this world, about I don't know what. And Kabbalists say completely the opposite. They say that the only thing that was created, meaning the only thing that wasn't before that action, was a flaw, a deficiency, a lack. Because before that, everything was perfect, everything was one. So in order to make a creation, meaning make out of one two, you need to have something that wasn't before part of the Creator. And the only thing which is not part of the Creator, or the only thing that the Creator doesn't have, is a flaw, is a deficiency, is a lack, is a minus, is, I don't know, emptiness, darkness. I don't know how you want to call it at the moment. Doesn't really matter. But you get the point? Good. Now, okay, good. Now, we have a question from Veronica. Is it possible to describe item 1 from the elementary particles or physical forces perspective? I don't know, you can try. Why would we do that? I don't know, like, you know, you can talk about particles, you can talk about waves, you can talk about objects in this material world. You can take different resolutions of physics if it helps to explain, but now I don't really see how it helps to explain it. But if it helps you, go for it. Like, yeah, it's not bad to get confused. It's not, you don't necessarily need to do that, but you can play with that. It's good. I remember myself in the first years just sitting with the books, trying to make diagrams, then erasing them, then trying to understand words, seeing how, like it's like a game, you play with that.
I have a question.
Please.
Yes. So he's saying that the pleasure and the will to receive are indivisible. And so is he saying that the will to receive is really a form with a deficiency, but a form of the very pleasure it wants to receive? In other words, the abundance. Yeah.
You can say that it's like the the negative, like the opposite way. But what does he really mean by indivisible? Again, if you saw how I explained John, what is a deficiency? When we have two things, we cannot define one without the other. That's what they mean that they are indivisible, because again, reality comes as one. When we attain reality, also in this world, also in spirituality, we just feel, it's just it. Now, every division or definition that you do, in Hebrew, the word definition is called agdara. It comes from the word fence. You're like fencing something in order to understand it. So every definition that you're doing is for you to understand. So you're like trying to analyze, cut pieces of the whole, but it's a whole. So again, when you're saying about creation, you're talking about two. And when you have two things, you always define one by the other.
Mm-hmm.
So darkness by light, pleasure by deficiency, or by pain, creature by creator. If you wouldn't have one, you wouldn't be able to define the other, okay? And because we as creatures we are a result of this action of creation, meaning when one became two, all of our perception at the moment is founded on הפכים, objective, opposites, yeah, like maybe. So all of our perception is defined by opposites, okay? So yeah, opposites, you can say. So I know high from low, hot from cold, love from hate, near from far. And without the one, I wouldn't understand the other, okay? So understanding at the moment that the creature, the deficiency, is something which is not the creator. That's it for now. More questions? Jensen is asking, the negative comes from the positive. Again, the negative determines the positive. If you wouldn't have negative, you wouldn't call it a positive. I don't know. Like, if we were all born cannibals and we would be eating one another, because that would be our food, would it be a negative thing or a positive thing? So without any reference, you cannot say it's a positive or negative. Somebody who was born into that, you cannot judge him or tell him that it's a bad thing. He doesn't know anything else. So you're already defining negative and positive because you're already judging everything by how good it is for me or not. But if you wouldn't have that assumption inside, or this way of translating reality, you cannot determine what is positive and what is negative without some kind of measurement. That's actually everything we do in education. All of our culture is in order to imprint in us, the religions, doesn't really matter, the moral, ethics, doesn't matter if you take orthodox or secular approaches, but everything that humanity tries to do is imprint in a person some kind of measurement, what is good and what is bad. Because there is nothing like that in nature. And so nothing can be defined without the awareness of its deficiency. Yeah, it's the same way of saying. What is the correlation between Torah, mitzvot, and the will to receive? Why did he start with Torah and mitzvot, leading into the discussion for will to receive? Well, this is a good question, because actually, he'll go back to this Torah and mitzvot and close this loop like in 180 items from now, which is way further. In that aspect, you can say that Kabbalists write like Spanish telenovelas. So in order to hold you for 1,000 or 5,000 episodes, you always open up a story, you don't close it, open up another story, then you close the first story, but you leave the uncle and the wife story open, so the person will come tomorrow, and then you close the open and the uncle and the wife, but you open the nephew story, and in a psychological way, because you want a closure, you come back, and then you find yourself wasting 5 years of your life on this South American family or whatever. In the Mediterranean, we have the Turkish telenovelas. Doesn't really matter. So actually he opens up something that he'll close later on. I'll explain it in shortly, so you'll be able to sleep at night tonight, because I know how it sits on you right now, if you want to understand that. But basically, he will say that if you have the abundance or the light and you have the will to receive, which is the deficiency, and this deficiency, this will to receive, makes the creature opposite from the creator. This is what we call thickness or coarseness. And this is something that we need to cleanse if we want to go back to be like the creator, if we want to go back into oneness and attain the creator as one. So we need to cleanse this will to receive, this minus. And how do we do that? We do that through actions which are called mitzvot. And by doing these actions, we actually bring a light, a force that is called Torah, that cleans the will to receive. And so this mechanism of mitzvot and Torah, which of course are not the external actions that you might think of, that you've heard of, it's completely something else, as we'll learn later on. But through these actions and this light, through this mechanism, we are capable of cleansing the will to receive and turning the minus into plus. In general, in a very shallow way, that's it, okay? Now I hope you are content. There is nothing good or bad in nature. Can you please expand on that? Yes, if everything comes from the creator, how can you define if something is good or bad? Everything comes from the same source. Everything is what it is. You're judging good or bad, again, according to your internal system of judgment, of calculations. Later on, we'll see that by default, we're judging everything by our ego, by our will to receive, meaning everything that is good for my ego is good, and if it's bad for my ego, it's bad. And we'll see that there is another option to build a different approach to nature and to everything that happens. But we'll learn that later on. Yeneth, Yeneth, you're the same Yeneth from YouTube, from Sundays on YouTube, maybe. I don't know. What is the difference between essence, existence from existence? You mean, what is the difference between existence from existence and existence from absence? Or are you talking about the essence of the creator? I'm not sure, but I explain it like without really getting confused too much. What he's saying actually is that there is a moment, or there is a state, or there is a level in which a person attains nature to such a deep way in which he is capable of differentiating between what is temporary, meaning what is the will to receive, because even now, we might think that we know what is the will to receive. Yeah, I want money, I want food, I want to be happy. That's not what we talk about in Kabbalah as the will to receive. So there is a moment or a state in which a person can differentiate and say, this is something which is temporary, this is the essence of the creature, this is the will to receive, and what I sense against it is something which is eternal, something that was and will be, something that is higher, deeper, like the root of the will to receive. And this thing I call the essence of the creator. Simon is longing to get to item 2. Simon, where are you? How do you say memaer? I don't know. You're like
In a hurry.
Yeah, why are you in a hurry? You're like the donkey in Shrek. Are we there yet? You're gonna kill yourself. We have a whole year before us. Take
Hello,
your time.
Eran. Yes, the donkey waiting because on the item 2, I have a question, 2 questions for you.
Ah, you have already questions on something we haven't read. Wrong
Yeah.
approach. You see, I take it, and you're a student you're doing this course for what, the 3rd time? Just comes to show how bad a teacher I am. Nice.
No, you are the best teacher.
How can you have a question on something we haven't read yet?
Yes, but already I have the item 2.
Okay, I'll try to justify you and say that you're a French, and also French people were created by the creator, and that's why you have this, and hopefully the light will help us. If it will help the Israelis, it will help the French as well. Okay, more questions on what we've read, not on what we will read.
I have a question. I'm sorry, Simon. Okay, if we have to go back to the creator, why do we have to cleanse a clean if in the creator there is no clean?
Sorry, I can't understand you, Fanny.
Okay, I'm gonna restart. Okay, why do we need to cleanse the Kli to go back to the creator if there is no Kli in the creator? Why not break it? Why do we have to clean it?
First of all, it's a good question. Second of all, it's we'll discuss it later on a bit. Third, I've said don't ask why at the moment, okay? There are moments in which asking why won't help you, okay? Especially in the beginning, when we acquire the terminology. And you've answered also another concept, which is breaking. We haven't talked about breaking. Just take it for now. Be patient. Again, you need to be patient. Take it for now that there is, if you're having a hard time agreeing with that, just think that we're talking about some kind of fantasy, something which is not related to you. A kingdom in which something was created opposite to the creator, and it needs to go back to being like the creator. I'm not asking why, this is how it is, okay? For now, okay? Just be patient. Good. Eran is Shrek, and Simon is the donkey. I don't know about Simon, I love him very much, but me and Shrek, we share the same nose, you can say, I don't know. Okay.
We call me the donkey of the Rav.
Okay, good. I like Simon. Simon, once I'll come to the Philippines and you'll make me a French dinner or something, huh? We'll see it, we'll drink some
Filipino, Malaysia, yes. Malaysia, my table is open
in
for
Malaysia,
you.
sorry. Yeah, I was close. You have a quarantine in Malaysia now?
No, not at all. Everything is
really?
fine there. Yeah. We are going outside only just to wear the mask only. But we have only around 8,000 cases, that's all.
Look, if last course I got to Nashville, I think this course with the COVID-19 I'll get to Malaysia maybe. We'll see about that. Okay, let's go back to the study, please. Do we have more questions about what we've said, or we'll go to item 2? There is a question. Did the creator have a desire, and this is why he created the lack? It's not a good way. It's not a good place to go to asking about the creator. Okay. It's not a good place to go. First of all, at the moment, we haven't learned enough to understand why the system works as it works, like the way it works. Second thing, when you go with question about the creator, usually you're going into this demanding place in your will to receive, and it's not a good place to go as a general tip to life. But I won't elaborate on that right now, maybe later on, but we'll understand it better later on. Yafa is asking, is the reason of perceiving everything in the opposite because we are the result of the opposite quality? We are a result of the opposite quality. We don't attain everything through the opposite. We attain everything through a comparison, okay? So you need to have two, but how do we learn something? Through analyzing and synthesizing it, okay? So first you understand the different components, then you build it back into one whole, okay? One picture. And so through the comparison between the connected state and the broken state, between the different parts and how they work together, that's how we understand stuff, okay? So now you can look on the oppositeness or the negativeness or the negativity as something bad. Later on, maybe you'll be grateful for that, because you will understand that without the two, you wouldn't be able to attain anything. Think about it. Okay, let's continue to item 2. It's not good to create a, how do you say takdim?
Precedent.
I don't understand what you're saying. You have this echo, and I was in the artillery forces, and it's not a good combination. My hearing is not so... President. Okay, somebody wrote here. Okay, so it's not good to make this like a precedent of doing one item a lesson. Okay, so let's continue to item 2.
Item 2. As we have said, the will to receive is innately included in the thought of creation with all its values, along with the great abundance. He had planned to delight them and impart upon them. And know that these are the Or, light, and the Kli, vessel, that we discern in the upper worlds. They necessarily come tied together and cascade together degree by degree, and the extent to which the degrees descend from the light of his face and depart from him is the extent of the materialization of the will to receive contained in the abundance.
Okay, so again, I'll read again and I'll explain. As we have said, the will to receive is initially included in nature. How do you pronounce it?
Innately.
Innately, which means innately it's like by force, like by the
Mulad.
Mulad, innately. Okay. As we have said, the will to receive is innately included in the thought of creation with all its denominators. Okay, so everything that will be in the will to receive was already in the creator, in the light. Because again, if the creation came out of the creator, then it was already there. Along with the great abundance, he had planned to delight them and impart to them, meaning that even the will to receive was part of the creator. So you can say also that what is the creation? Did the creation really happen? It doesn't really matter. The creation is what we determine when we reveal that there was something which was one, and then suddenly there are two. And from that moment, we determined that there was a creation. So what do I want to say? I want to say that all these divisions, all this terminology of talking about creature and creator, these are all just like our language, also the language. When we talk, when we read, we talk, we understand information from the comparison between the silence and the noise. We read and we extract information from the contradiction between the white paper and the flaws of the ink. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to extract information if everything was white. We wouldn't be able to understand everything if there was only silence. But this is artificial. If we were all connected, then I would feel what you feel, or we would feel something together without words, without this artificial division. It would be just one feeling, one thought. It would just be what it is. And so I'm lingering on this point because I know how it's not trivial and how hard it is to understand that. But try to understand that when we say creation and creator, or creature and creator, this is just an artificial division we are doing in order for us to easily understand, or in a more easy way to understand the forces of nature, and to understand that actually what is one is showing or acting towards us in two different forces, of the will to receive and the will to bestow. But it's an artificial division. Well, I've said the words like 1,000 times. Maybe it will be clearer later on if it's not clear by now. So, he had planned to delight them and impart to them, and know that these are the ore, light, and clay, vessel, that we discern in the upper worlds. Later on, we'll see what are the upper worlds, but again, this division we call the light, ore, and we call the creature, vessel, clay. They necessarily kind tie together and cascade together degree by degree. So again, they are always connected. Why is that? Because there is no light without a kli to define it, and there is no kli without a light to define it. So how can you define them if there is one without the other? You see what I'm saying? Okay, if there would be no black in reality, or if there would be no night in reality, I wouldn't be able to define a day. It was just it. Okay? So when there are a day and a night, I can define what is a day and a night. But in spirituality, it's more than that. In every state, you have both. And the extent to which the degrees descend from the light to his face and depart from him is the extent of the materialization of the will to receive contained in the abundance. Okay, this is interesting. Now, Baal HaSulam says, we can actually divide creation or reality, which is one. But now we can divide it according to a specific measurement. And what is this measurement? We can say, let's say if we have the state of oneness, and maybe later on we have a state of two, and maybe you can say in our world, we have a state of zero, that we're like unconscious. Okay? So now you can divide all of reality and talk about something which is up, something which is down. I can actually talk about a scale. You see what I've drew right now? I drew some kind of artificial scale to talk about creation in a very specific aspect. How can it be? How can I talk differently about something which is one? So Baal HaSulam says, in Kabbalah we do that by talking about something which appears to us as closer to the Creator. So if we attain a state in which there is more light, I don't know even how to draw it. I don't want to like materialize it. But if we talk about a state which there is more light, or we attain, or we forgot the words. להבחין, discern. If I discern more of a light in that state than the kli, than the vessel, than the creature, we say that this state is higher. And if I attain in a specific state more of the creature, more of the kli, more of the vessel than the light, we say that it's lower. And if I attain a whole spectrum of how these things change, I can talk about a process. And this is what he's saying, that there was a process in which reality materialized, meaning from a point in which everything was just pure light to a state in which everything is pure creature. Now, of course, that nothing changed in reality itself. It's all in the perception of the person who attains it. But Baal HaSulam writes about his research. And so he says that he attained that from the moment of creation until our state at the moment, or let's say through what we'll call later spiritual worlds, the reality materialized, meaning the force of the creature, the kli, became more prominent, and the light, the creator, became more concealed. But still, they are always combined together. Please continue, Uri.
We could also state the contrary, to the extent that...
You see, we can always state the opposite. Why can we always state the opposite? Because it's all one. It's just the point of view that you're taking, okay? So it's all in your perception. Yes, that's why Kabbalists, they have it so easy. It's like the jokes on the Jews, you know, because you have on one hand and you have the other hand. And it's always like that. Nothing is simple, it's always complicated. Because until you attain the oneness, you always have two sides. You actually have much more. Yes, please.
Again, we could also state the contrary. To the extent that the will to receive in the abundance materializes, it descends degree by degree, as written below, to the lowest of all places, where the will to receive is fully materialized.
Okay, so you can say, what does he refer to by saying that we can say the opposite? He's referring to the cause and effect. Like you can say on one hand that because the will to receive materialized, then the creation fell or went down in the worlds, or you can say that it materialized because it went down in the worlds. Okay, so you can say that the materialization of the will to receive is the cause to the descension, or you can say that the descension is the cause to the materialization of the will to receive, because it's the same. It's the same. It's the same. To say more will to receive means that you are lower. Why is it the same? It's the same because that's how Kabbalists defined it. From the beginning, they defined that we'll say high about something which is similar to the Creator, and low about something which is far opposite to the Creator. Because in reality itself, there is no high and low. In spiritual reality, I mean. Not about physical reality. Physical reality is different. We have 4 main dimensions of 3 dimensions in time, and we are locked by it. We'll understand later on why we have this imprint in corporeality. It also comes from spirituality. But in spiritual reality, there is no up and down. There is no time. So you define up as similar to the creator, down as opposite to the creator. Please continue.
This place is called the world of Asiya.
Okay, this is a name. Don't get confused. A sheep goes meh, a cow goes moo, and the lowest place is called the world of Asiya. Later on, we'll explain why.
The will to receive is considered man's body.
Again, don't get confused. Get into this, like in medieval Christian Kabbalah, with all this Gnostic stuff, they made matamim, how do you say?
Delicacies.
Yeah, they made delicacies of such sentences. The will to receive is considered the man's body. So now in my body, in my hands, I have this blah, blah, blah. I can say bullshit or it's not correct. I don't know if it's like, I'm not sure. Anyway, I won't say. In English, it's better not say anything. So it's not correct, okay? So it's better to say, first of all, when Bala Sulam gives these definitions, if you'll see my book, you'll see that I'm doing equal mark. Because these are like definitions. They are like, it's like in math, okay? This equals that. It's just a definition. So, will to receive is considered a man's body. A name at the moment, I don't know nothing about it. I even don't know what's the will to receive. But he says, will to receive is like a man's body. That's a definition. Please continue.
And the abundance one receives is considered the measure of vitality in that body.
Okay, so I have will to receive. I can call it a kli, I can call it a creature, and I can call it a body. And I have the light, I can call it the creator, I can call it a light, I can call it vitality or life or the force of life. Names. Don't go and make all kinds of imaginary implications or something like that, okay? Names at the moment. Don't connect it also to yourself. It doesn't talk about you at the moment. It is please finish.
It is similar in other creatures in this world. Thus, the only difference between the upper worlds and this world is that as long as the will to receive, included in his abundance, has not fully materialized, it is regarded as still being in the spiritual world, above this world. Once the will to receive has fully materialized, it is regarded as being in this world.
Okay, so Bala Sulam says this combination between the two is similar in all the spectrum, in all of the range of reality. The only difference between talking about spiritual worlds in our world is that in spiritual worlds, you have some kind of attainment of the creator, because the will to receive didn't materialize to its final degree. In our world, you have no attainment of the creator. That's actually the definition of our world meaning a state in which there is no attainment of the creator. But also in our world, you have this, as a projection, this thing which is called a body and the life in it, okay? And I don't want to go into that, because even definition of life in our world is not so simple if you ask scientists. There are a lot of books about it, what is exactly life? And you know, for centuries, people try to understand what is this force of life inside of me, and when I die, does my weight change? Did I have a soul? Did something went up, went down? It's huge confusion in humanity. Don't want to go into that at the moment. Just let's understand that this reality of Dichotomia, how do you say?
Dichotomy.
Dichotomy? Really? Okay. So this dichotomy of two, of having two from the moment of creation goes through all of the spectrum until our world. And also in our world, we have a lot of divisions due to this fact. Okay? And it won't go, it won't go back to be one until we'll attain it from below upwards to the higher degree. Good. We didn't lose many people so far. We're in a good state. I think we've lost like 10. It's good percentage. We'll see how many will come next lesson. But it seems like we have a strong student this time. Good. Okay, now Simon's question. Simon, you had it. You held it for months until we started this. Yes. Okay. It is written, and know that these are the O, light and Kli that we discern in the upper worlds. Two questions. One, does that mean that already exists a Kli at the same time as the O? Yes. If we wouldn't have a Kli, there wouldn't be a O. Because again, how do you define a light? You define a light according to your Kli. In our world now, if you don't have a Kli, you don't attain anything of the light. If you have a certain Kli, you'll attain light according to that extent, and you'll be on that spiritual degree. Second question, is all the creator or an emanation of the creator? This is a deep question. For now, we saw in the first two items that it's tricky. Because if you noticed, sometimes Baal HaSulam refers to the light as the creator and says the abundance is the creator and the deficiency is the creation. He also said that also the creation came from the creator, meaning that there is maybe a deeper, more primitive root that from it we have both the light and the Kli. It's a nice question. Stay with it. I'm not obliged to answer all of your questions, right? And it's good to have a question.
I have a question, Iran.
Yes, please.
Okay, he mentioned the light of his face. Is there any explanation for this sentence?
Again, is light the light of his?
The light of his face.
Ah, face. Yes,
face.
yes. Okay, good. Thank you. This is another terminology. If you understood when I explained that more similar to the creator is called higher in Kabbalah, and more opposite to the creator is called lower, also we define that revealing, if you have combination of the light and the Kli, if you reveal in a certain state more of the light, we say that you reveal more of the face of the creator. If you see more of the vessel of the Kli, we say that this is the back, okay? Why is that? Because you all the time you reveal reality according to your degree. But if you haven't corrected your perception, you reveal more of the will to receive inside of you, more of the emptiness, more of the darkness. And this is called that you see the back of the creator. It is still the creator. There is none else beside him. But you see the back of him. Why is it called the back? Because if you feel bad, you cannot connect it to the creator. And so you know that it comes from the creator, but you don't truly feel it because you cannot justify him. And that's why we say that you see him from the back. You're not certain that it is him. But if you already corrected yourself, you came into balance with him, and you feel how this state comes from him, then we say that you see his face. We say that you shower yourself in the light of his face. There are many sentences in the Bible with Moses in many places about it. But in the
Thank
end,
you.
back in face is how you attain the state, from the clear or from the light. Okay. Profound. What did you say, Jensen? Profound. I like Jensen. He really helps with English. But you say profound about what? I don't know. I don't remember about what. Well, Eran, how is it? Like deep. Okay. Eran, how is it possible for us to correct ourselves? This is all the method. Now, you know what is the best privilege in this course? First of all, I'm not obliged to answer anything. This is one privilege, because it's not like a beginner's course. So I can leave you frustrated. It's okay. Second, you cannot sue me. It's nice. Also, I do it by volunteering. So anyway, I don't get money for it. So like, doesn't matter. So even you cannot get paid back or whatever you do when you're not happy with the course. And the second thing is that because we're talking about the theoretical part in Kabbalah, everything that has to do with how we correct ourselves, how we connect, how we work in a group, how we reveal the Creator, how we deal with daily life, how we connect everything to knowledge beside Him, how we justify the Creator and attain what we study in practice, how we feel what Baal Sulam talks about, it's not in this course. You have other course for that. Here we just explain what Baal Sulam explains. Sometimes maybe I touch on some of the stuff because it helps explain the things, but this is not really how we practice Kabbalah. Okay, no more questions. You have more questions? Somebody wants to ask about what we study? I ask about the Kli. Do we have one? It really depends about the Kli. The Kli in the end is built through our connection with others. But again, now I don't want to talk about it because this is like more practical stuff and it's not what we study. More questions? No. Okay. Simon, you don't have more questions about item 2? It will be a year until we get to it again. I don't want you to be too frustrated. Okay, the day you stop being non-politically correct, I quit the class. I'm non-politically correct. You don't know what I've said in the first course. They almost killed me. But now also like, no, but also then I think it was, like all the political state in the States was much easier. It wasn't so, today is very loaded, everything is loaded. Like now with the politics and the fires and the riots, now everything is like crazy. Like to rise above to a state of connection, to be able to talk above everything without like race and political agenda, we need such greater connection that I'm not sure we'll be able to talk about such stuff in this course. But in the first course, it was much lighter, so we had a lot of jokes around it. But okay, so is it true to say that all of life is based on opposites? Are opposites the building block of life? Yeah, you can say that. You can say that, that's right. And you can say also that actually life is a result of the right connection, the right balance between opposites. That's what we need to understand. That's why, for example, if we talked about the States right now, opposites will just grow, not only in the States, everywhere. Opposites will grow because we need to connect above them without erasing them. because the times in humanity when we could bring people together by making everybody similar. So everybody's Christian, everybody's Muslims, everybody's eating McDonald's, everybody's communists, whatever, this time has passed. It won't come back again because humanity is ready to grow above it. And actually through that, we can come to a much higher degree, but it costs so much suffering if you do it from the back and not from the face. So much suffering. But think of how long it took for an amoeba to evolve and how much time it took for a human to evolve, which is a much more complex creature. Even in a simple cell, we have combination of different cells, like with the mitochondria. How do you say mitochondria in English? I don't know. Mitochondria.
Mitochondria.
Well, it's the same, just in a nicer accent. So even that was a different cell that combined. Doesn't matter.
One question.
Just a second with the question. Is Baal HaSulam inferring that in essence the creator and the creature are one? You can, what does it mean? Of course that everything is one, even the creator is one. You can ask, does Baal HaSulam say actually that the creature is an illusion or something temporal? Yeah, we'll get to that later. View the archives of the course, any disclaimer this time. Item 155 is in the previous course. That's cool, that's important thing. Uri, please remind us to start next lesson from item 155. Usually Marcus used to love it. So every time Marcus used to teach with me, he would begin with that. Uri, did you make a note? Good, don't forget. How do we do it just from the face? You see, this is a practical question. I'm not answering that. It's not in this course. Yes, who wanted to ask a question?
Oh, that was me. I'm sorry. I just remember you said that the lowest state is called Asiya.
Baal HaSulam said that lowest level is called the world of Asiya, and this is a name like you are called John and I'm called Eran. And you don't ask me on the first meeting, why did my parents call me Eran and what does it mean? And why does it sound like Iran, the country? You just say Eran, okay? That's it for now. Wait. Later on, we'll explain more of the terminology. Are we there yet? Not yet. Soon. Okay, that's it, people. Do we have announcement, Linda?
Yes, hang on.
It was a yes and then nothing more, yes?
Hang on, hang on.
Hang on. No problem. Take your time, sorry. In the meantime, I'll say that if you have questions about this lesson, it's very recommended, and I know that many students are doing that. First of all, I know that a lot of you are watching it not live because we're getting questions and everything. Feel free to ask questions and send questions, and you can prepare questions and come with them for the beginning of next lesson. And if you have any problem or suggestion, write it to the people on CABU. And that's more, that's it, yeah, I guess. Yeah, please, Linda.
So what's next? Thursday is the grad class with Mike Kellogg at 8 p.m., which starts actually at 7:45. And then there's the young group on Wednesdays for the Australasian time and the Euro-African times. And all GE students will be invited to participate in the BB Holidays activities, but it will be put on the GE website for updates on that.
That's it?
That is it.
Good. Okay, so people stay safe, stay healthy, see you next time. Take care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Viram. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, everyone.